She was the daughter of his enemy, and I was sworn to guard her. Every rule in Adrian Volkov's empire was clear loyalty first, feelings never. But that night, under the storm-lit sky, I realized protecting her might cost me everything: my loyalty, my life, and my heart. I didn't know then that the woman I was meant to keep under control would become the only person who could make me question everything. Sofia Petrova wasn't chained. She wasn't restrained. Yet every step she took, every breath she drew, reminded her of the invisible prison around her. The Volkov mansion rose like a fortress, high walls cutting her off from the world she once knew, guards patrolling every corner. And Luka Markovic, Adrian Volkov's bodyguard, moved like a shadow, tall, silent, dangerous. He was the kind of man everyone feared. Yet Sofia found herself wanting to defy him every chance she got. "Are you always this silent?" she asked one morning, pacing the marble floors with the soft click of her heels echoing. "Talking isn't part of my job," Luka replied, leaning against the doorway, arms crossed. His eyes never left her. "And what exactly is your job?" she pressed. "Making sure you don't run," he said, voice calm, controlled, like steel wrapped in velvet. Sofia smirked, walking closer, her fingers trailing along the edge of the table. "You say that like I haven't tried." And she had. 3 times already. The first escape attempt had been a leap over the garden wall at dawn. Luka had intercepted her before she even touched the gates. The second, a carefully planned slip through the kitchen exit, thwarted by his silent presence in the shadows. The third, a stolen security key, ended with him cornering her in the corridor, calm, unshaken, and entirely unsurprised. Every time her glare could have melted steel, but he found himself watching longer than he should have, noticing the curve of her jaw, the defiance in her stance, the way her hair caught the morning light. Something about her demanded attention. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. Luka began noticing details he hadn't meant to see. Sofia hummed softly while reading by candlelight. She lingered by windows, tracing raindrops as they slid down the glass. There was a fragility to her that few could see and a strength that refused to break. One night, during a particularly violent storm, the lights went out. Sofia froze, fingers gripping the edge of the window frame. "You're afraid of storms," Luka said softly, stepping closer. "I'm not afraid," she said, though her voice betrayed her. "Not how this world works," he murmured, tension threading through his words. "Then how does it work?" "You stay loyal," he said. "And if loyalty destroys you, then you let it." Their eyes met. Long, charged, electric. Every breath felt heavier, every heartbeat louder. And yet, there was always Adrian Volkov watching. From the shadows, from the balcony, from places no one knew to look. Every laugh, every brush of hands, every glance, they all fed into his control. Luka couldn't admit it. But the real danger wasn't Adrian. It was his own feelings, growing too fast, too strong. 2 nights later, Sofia appeared in Luka's hallway. Her hair was damp from the rain. Her eyes were wide, urgent. "You're not supposed to be here," he whispered. "I know," she said. "Something's wrong." "Adrian?" She nodded. "He's planning to move me tomorrow. I don't know where, but it won't be good." "I will go with you," Luka said, his voice tight. She shook her head. "If you leave, you may be killed." "I know," he replied. The rain poured as they moved silently through the mansion corridors. Every shadow felt alive, every step a potential death sentence. They reached the garage. Luka opened the door. "Get in!" And then a shadow moved. "Going somewhere?" Adrian Volkov, standing in the doorway, flanked by armed men. Sofia froze. Lucas's chest tightened. Adrian's eyes were sharp, piercing, cold, calculating. "My bodyguard. And my prisoner," he said slowly. "How long?" Luka said nothing. Sofia's hand found his arm, trembling. Adrian handed Luka a gun. "Prove your loyalty. Kill her." Luka froze. His mind screamed, "Obey," but his heart refused. He lowered the weapon. Guards tensed. Adrian's eyes were dark, amused, disappointed. It was the first time Luka realized loyalty could mean more than orders. Loyalty could mean protecting her. Loyalty could mean love. Adrian exhaled slowly. Separate them. Let's see how strong love really is. Luka and Sophia were together. Their hearts, at least, were free. But freedom had limits. They were still trapped inside the empire of Adrian Volkov. Love in the mafia world was never safe. Love was a weapon, a risk, a gamble, and Adrian had just reminded them he controlled the battlefield, the rules, every move they could make. And yet, in the storm's fading light, Luka and Sophia's hands brushed, silent, defiant. Their love had survived, for now, but it was only the beginning, because in the world of the mafia, love was the deadliest game of all. The mansion was silent after Adrian's words, save for the faint hum of the storm outside. Lucas's hands still trembled slightly, not from fear, but from the impossible weight of his choice. Loyalty to Adrian, the man who had trained him, or love for Sophia, the one person who had awakened his soul. He turned to Sophia, her eyes wide, pleading. "I can't let him make you a weapon," he whispered. "I won't." Sophia shook her head, biting her lip. "Then leave. Run. Go. Don't make this worse." But Luka's resolve hardened. The first time he had ever broken protocol, it had been for survival. Now it was for something more: love. He wouldn't let Adrian have her, not as leverage, not as a pawn. With lightning reflexes, Luka turned, disarming the nearest guard in a fluid motion. A shot rang out, shattering the silence. Chaos erupted. "Luka!" Sophia cried, clutching the edge of the balcony railing. Adrian's voice cut through the storm, calm but lethal. "You'll regret this." Luka didn't answer. He didn't need to. He knew the stakes. He sprinted toward the main corridor, fists and feet taking out anyone who dared block his path. He moved like a shadow, every step precise, every strike efficient. But Adrian had anticipated this. Guards poured from the hallways, weapons raised. Sophia watched, heart racing. Her instinct was to help, but she knew Luka needed her alive more than he needed her fighting beside him. She stayed hidden, silent, tears threatening to fall. Luka reached the central hallway and caught a glimpse of Adrian standing with his gun trained. For a heartbeat, time froze. Mentor versus protege. Loyalty versus love. "Luka, stop!" Adrian shouted. Luka's eyes burned. Not this time. Not her. The fight was brutal and swift. Lucas's fists collided with Adrian's guards, each move calculated, yet fueled by raw emotion. He was a man possessed not by anger, but by the need to save Sophia. Bullets flew. Glass shattered and lightning split the sky outside. Adrian was clever. He anticipated Luka's every strike, countering with experience and brutality. But Luka was unpredictable, driven by heart rather than duty. In a moment of desperation, Luka landed a precise blow to Adrian's chest, sending him staggering backward. He didn't finish it. He couldn't. Adrian was still a formidable opponent. But Luka had one advantage. He had Sophia's survival on his mind and nothing else. "Go!" Luka barked, his voice rough. "Get out, now!" Sophia hesitated, torn between running and staying. She trusted him, knew he would return, but fear rooted her to the spot. Luka grabbed her hand, pulling her down a hidden service staircase. Shadows swallowed them. Rain pelted the walls outside, masking the chaos within. They emerged into the alley behind the mansion. Lucas's mind raced, escape, regroup, return. Adrian would not let this go. He needed a plan, and he needed to fight on his own terms. Despite their narrow escape, Adrian was relentless. He had not forgotten, not forgiven. Sophia was taken during the night, moved to a hidden location, a fortified estate guarded by men who knew her every move. Luka awoke to the absence of her warmth beside him. Panic surged, followed by clarity. He packed lightly just his combat knives, a sidearm, and a single duffel bag of essentials. There was no hesitation. He would fight Adrian and the Empire to save her. The night was thick with fog as Luka approached the estate. Shadows clung to the walls. Security cameras scanned the grounds. He observed from a distance, calculating, breathing slowly. He had learned from Adrian's tactics, predictable guards, predictable patterns, predictable arrogance. With the silence of a predator, Luka struck. Disabling cameras, incapacitating guards silently, he made his way through corridors lined with luxury and terror. Every step brought him closer to Sophia, every heartbeat a drum of urgency. Finally, he found her, the soft glow of candlelight spilling through a window. Sophia sat tied to a chair, her expression calm despite fear. "You came," she whispered. "I promised," Luka said simply. Adrian appeared behind her suddenly, stepping from the shadows. His presence was a storm in itself, commanding, infuriating, untouchable. "I wondered how long it would take," he said, eyes locking on Luka. "I'm not leaving without her," Luka replied, raising his weapons. The fight that followed was merciless. Adrian moved like a whirlwind, and Luka matched him, blow for blow. The room erupted in chaos. Furniture shattered, glass sprayed across the floor, candle flames flickered dangerously. Sophia, refusing to be passive, worked to free herself, cutting the ropes that bound her with quiet determination. In a moment of desperation, Luka disarmed Adrian, pinning him against the wall. "Let her go," he demanded, voice low, but resonating with all the authority Adrian had ever commanded. Adrian smirked. "Do you think love can override the rules of power?" "I know it can," Luka spat, adrenaline and fury mingling in his veins. With a calculated strike, he knocked Adrian unconscious. The estate's alarms blared as Luka lifted Sophia into his arms. They moved through hidden passages, emerging into the dark, storm-slicked streets. Rain soaked them, but it didn't matter. They were free. Finally, in a safe house high above the city, Luka set her down gently. Sophia looked at him, soaked and trembling, but alive. "You risked everything," she whispered. "Everything," he said. His hand brushed her wet hair from her face. "Because you're everything." They embraced, a long, unbroken hug, the world outside fading. Some wars were worth fighting with your heart. And in the mafia world, where trust is currency and love is the deadliest weapon of all, they had chosen each other. The storm had passed, but the city knew. The game had changed.